Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Today's theme is AI-powered B2B G2M, GTM, building a full funnel growth engine for 2026. I'm Karen, and I'm thrilled to be your host today. We are living through a transformation in B2B marketing. The buyer journey has fundamentally changed. AI is reshaping go-to-market strategy dramatically, and the companies that adapt quickly will have a massive competitive advantage. So today we will explore practical frameworks for building AI-powered GTM engines, scaling content production, breaking down silos, and preparing for an increasingly AI narrative marketplace. So I'm joined today by two exceptional marketing experts. One is Andros Ramers, another is Abhijit. So hi both, good morning, and would
Good
you have
morning.
a very introduction about yourself?
Sure. Let's both introduce ourselves, Abhijit and myself. I start off. I'm Andreas Ramos. I'm a professor of digital marketing with AI at CSU, a small technical university in Silicon Valley. I've been in Silicon Valley since 1992. I came here, and then the dot-com boom started, and now the AI boom started. You can see more about me at andreas.com. Abhijit?
Hi, Karen. Thank you so much for organizing this. Hi, Andreas, and hello, everyone. My name is Abhijit, and I come from a combination of tech and marketing background, both from an education perspective as well as practice. I have worked in some very large multinational technology and consulting firms like Accenture, Capgemini, Tech Mahindra, etc. And in contrast to that, I also started my own. I founded TargetOrate, which is a go-to-market consulting and marketing firm. It's been a very interesting journey, 10 plus years. We have served 300 plus clients, and the challenges at different stage of this journey were very different. And last 1 year onwards, it's all AI first world. Very excited to be here, and we'll speak more as we progress through this webinar.
Okay, welcome everyone and welcome our two speakers. So let's quickly move on the next part. So we will spending the next 35 to 40 minutes in discussion. We will walk you through many key questions that tackle the biggest challenges you are facing. And then we'll open it up for Q&A before wrapping up. So feel free to drop your question in the chat as we go. So now, let's dive in. So let's begin the key question. Today's topic is a modern form funnel like GTM engine. So let's start with that fundamental question. Now, B2B buyers' behavior and the market environment have shifted dramatically. So what does a modern full funnel GTM engine look like in 2026? And what roles does AI play in orchestrating it? So, Andrews, I'd love to start with you on this.
Sure. Thank you. Um, Okay, go-to-market, GTM, is focused on sales. And that's very good. Of course, the company needs sales as much as possible. But GTM has to be built within a full brand marketing strategy. You have to build the entire building just to have the office that does the GTM. So brand strategy is mostly built now with integrated marketing communications, IMC. This is a theory that started back in the early 90s, and for several decades, it was a great idea, but not possible to do because there'd be too many issues, too many silos, too complex. But now with AI, you can build IMC that works across the entire enterprise. All the documents, information, data can all be pulled together, and the IMC can build everything. It can build a strategy, the content calendar, and then generate multimodal content in text, image, video, and audio in over 90 languages for 130 countries. So a full brand strategy builds the basis for GTM to create massive marketing and sales capability. So that's the situation we have now. Both it was not possible 3 years ago. Only in the last year or two has it become possible to build all of this.
Thank you for sharing that. Now I've learned new word IMC. And actually, that full funnel architectures makes sense, especially with AI, the orchestrating layer. But let's get more tactical. So I have another question with, let's continue this topic, AI as the operation layer. So I have a question for RPG. So when we talk about AI as the operation layer, what problem does it actually solve day to day? Workflow automation, leader routine, scoring. Where's the real value there?
Yes. I think AI is changing the way B2B marketing is run. It's completely revolutionizing, right from the simple automation of repetitive tasks to actually becoming a very smart engine which can help you design and execute your entire go-to-market strategies. I think Andreas spoke about how content can be ideated, conceptualized, developed, and promoted through the AI tools. Agentic AI, when you look at it, it takes the responsibility of designing your campaigns, uh, defining your workflows, sequencing your actions and activities, lead scoring, and a bunch of other things like optimizing those campaigns and doing some predictive judgment, all of it almost without human intervention, which is such an interesting thing that's happening. Now, agentic AI, as we know, is unlocking the new levels of customer engagement. It's at the top, actually, getting things like buyer signals, uh, capturing the customer intent, and the basis of that, activate your next set of activities, highly contextual at the right time to the right audience. In this market, which is flooded with so much of content, so much of targeting, so much of digital bombarding happening, I think such agents are able to make your marketing very smart. Today, I think it's not just about automating, not just about scale, not just about size or speed. That's given. AI is doing that. It's always now about how intelligent is your orchestration happening. That's the most important thing. I think AI is helping there significantly, and I think it's going to do more and more as we progress.
Hmm. Thank you for sharing your insights. So there's real operational value there, and also AI just have a big impact in every stage and embedded with the whole working flow in every aspect. So let's imagine but I imagine implementation is the tricky part. So let's still move on this topic. So we can tackle a little bit another close dimension with orchestration, which is integration and implementation. So I still want to continue this topic with RPG. So from a product-led growth perspective, how can team, because you mentioned integration and also integrate with working flow, etc. How can team integrate AI without creating chaos? What foundational elements are critical?
All right. I think when you look at GTM, right, go to market is largely a top down strategy. Where you start from the top. Product led growth, however, definitely requires executive sponsorship. It requires the CXO involvement. But on the execution side, that is the implementation side, it can always begin with something which is targeted to a small unit or a small set of people, individuals who are going to use that, gain that feedback loop, learn those experiences, and then start expanding the scope of the whole product to the larger organization. Now, in this journey, AI is leveraged at every stage, and I think you rightly pointed out that what are those foundation elements that you got to look at when you're trying to integrate AI into the entire life cycle of your marketing and customer acquisition journey, right? I think the first thing that I can think about is the governance. Very important to understand how, where, what, and to what extent we are going to leverage AI, and what are those touch points where you think human intervention is also required to be safe, to be fair, and to be profitable for the business. So those boundaries of what AI can assist versus where you need a human safety net, you know, related to, let's say, rolling back mechanisms or maintaining traceability is extremely important in your journey of training AI and making it more and more adaptable. The next, so that's one element of it. Now the second important thing is the incremental adoption. Very important that you when you start embedding your AI capabilities into the product itself to drive acquisition, retention, expansion, etc., as opposed to a single sweeping implementation of AI across the organization. It's very important that you are adopting it incrementally for the things that you are doing. Training and skill set upselling is a very important aspect. It requires the whole AI discipline within the organization cannot be sporadic. It can't be a few individuals using it in their own capacity. So the whole discipline of upskilling the entire organizations, the users, the builders, and everybody helps us foster the growth. It helps us improve efficiency, gets more innovation, reduces the churn, etc. Real-time personalization is again a very important benefit of empowering your products with the right customer user experience. Things like dynamic content and then highly personalized recommendations based on the user behavior. So when even if you have your product being offered to a customer on a freemium model where there's a free trial being used, then you can actually start monitoring the customer behavior, and on the basis of that you can actually on a real-time basis make recommendations on the next right set of features that they can use, or a module that they can subscribe, or one of the benefit that they can really get. So personalization in real time is very important, and connected to that is the predictive insights, which will improve the entire decision making based on the same user behavior or the other patterns that you recognize, which can actually be taken by the system to expedite the entire process. This such a governance and such fundamental ingredients, if you are able to build into your AI integration, then it's more likely that you will have less chaos in this AI disruptive industry that we are that's underway at this moment.
Yeah, it's super clear. Thank you for sharing that. So five key elements included, like the governance, the adoption, the training and scalable frameworks, the real-time personalization, and last but not least, the predictive insights. Very clear. Thank you for sharing that. So we just have a discussion with in AI integration and without creating chaos. And also we discuss the key elements. But when we talk about AI integration without chaos, absolutely, like without a doubt, like a content cannot can be a very key part for this. So actually, I just want to raise a question about content related question, and I want to throw the spot to Andrews. Okay, so this question is about scaling content production. So content demand actually is constantly increasing in the era of AI. So how can AI help teams scale content production while maintaining quality and brand consistency?
Like what Abhijit said, working with AI in the real world is creating a great deal of chaos. Folks, in the dot-com boom, that was chaotic. This is even more so. Karen brings up a really good question. The key problem, the tension between quality and scale. You create a great deal of material really, really fast. We have to be very careful the quality is maintained. In the old world before, with individual contributors, that was possible. One person had his project to write about, and they could see that and control that. But folks, those good old days of individual contributors who write and create content, that's over. Really sad, but it's over. For many years, for decades, I was a writer, a manager, a director, a CMO, a CEO, company doing this sort of stuff. All that can be replaced now with all these new acronyms, GTM and IMC and IAP and so on. IAP, another word, integrated ad platform. Yep, a single tool, you log in, you tell it what you want to sell, you hit your budget, a few pictures, hit a button, and bingo, it starts creating all the advertising for you. People say, well, when's this coming? And I say, folks, it's already here. Already now for the last 6 months, I've been using IAP for two, I would say, global corporations, really, really large, VLC, very large companies. And that's what I do. And it generates literally for every person who sees the ad, it creates an ad, text, video, audio for that person. Okay, so we're talking about thousands and thousands of ads being generated per day. This is IAP. The other issue, RAG, yet another acronym, Retrieval Augmented Generation. And this is, okay, I cannot explain that in one sentence, but it's a system, it's somewhat easy to build, in which you put all your content and really good rules, controls around the content. So it's all a question of GIGO, yet another acronym, garbage in, garbage out. You put bad content and bad rules into your system, yes, you're going to get chaos out of it. So it's a tremendous issue around high quality, like Abhijit said, high quality governance, rules, content going into the RAG system and the IAP and all these other systems. And then what happens is a team of one or two, maybe even three people can produce what before it took 40 or 50 people to do. And like I said before, in 90 languages across 130 countries, it's an entirely new world we're living in now. Karen?
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I've learned many new words from your side. New word come with like IAP, right? So actually, yeah, so many things happen when AI come. We have learned a lot of terminology and a lot of system words. That's great. And I believe like many people like you who used to be the SEO strategist, but now AI can replace it. Like because AI can speak over many languages, right? Okay, so going from 40 people with AI, going from the team size can going from 40 people to two to three people in total is radical change. But that kind of transformation faces some serious organization barrier. So we talk about AI integration and orchestration and also some key elements. But I want to dive in with one key element of among those like IPG just mentioned, which is personalization, right? So IPG, let's dive into AI personalization. So when you mentioned AI personalization, a real-time personalization, sorry, but how can team deliver truly personalized experience across the funnel without making operations overly complex? This also related to implementation.
Yes, I think I think as Andreas rightly said, the execution in terms of actually generating content is not a problem. The question is, what are you going to generate?
Mhm.
Now, and I'm also building further on the abbreviations that or the acronyms that Andreas brought in. So if you say if every touch point uh, with customer has to be RIP. Obviously, it's not rest in peace. It's real, intentional, and personalized. Now,
Mhm.
personalization is the key. Now, if you look at it, right, a generic thought leadership produced which talks about a wide range of topics, the expertise, etc., is getting less and less relevant because we know that there is data available in the World Wide Web. There are tools available, and AI can completely create it the way you want in whatever media, right? Video, video, text, graphics, whatsoever, right? What's more important is understanding the needs of the customer deeper instead of wider, and translate them into real customer experiences. And that's where personalization becomes extremely important in this world of so much of content being pushed, right? Now, how do we implement it? Now, while that is the theory part of it, right, there are a few most common best practices that one can use to be able to provide such personalized experiences to the customer. One is the entire content building blocks, wherever they are, be it your website, be it the emails that you are creating, the messaging, the visuals that are being offered, the company information, etc. So these dynamic content blocks is one area which can be completely personalized to customers. We have also seen that in initiatives such as account based marketing, especially if you go for 1:1 sort of thing, you can actually build a landing page exclusively for one of the audience that you are targeting from your side.
Mhm.
It's highly personalized. It's like running an ad for a company. It can go to 100 companies, but every company will see its own logo, its own context, its own perspective into the ad. So it becomes very personalized, and it also becomes very relatable. Email sequences are very important, that you can define your entire communication hierarchy as part of your outreach, but then based on the behavior of the customer, the reaction of the customer, the actions of the customer. When I say customer, I'm referring to audience here. Then you have the follow-up communication and actions taken based on the activity of customer. It's a download, or whether it's a page visit, or it's clicking on an ad, or somebody giving a consent, or somebody subscribing to something. So on the basis of that, you will have to dynamically change your content aligned with the expectation of the audience. Now that's the automation and the AI intelligence part, which also gets extended to things like live chat. You can actually be able to do a live chat, providing an extremely good user experience by building the whole underlying logic, which actually sort of provides a narrative of how the customer journey should happen for the client, and feeds the audience with the right level of information at the right time. So this is, as you can imagine, Karen, this is far beyond just automating the tasks. It goes into making very smart and intelligent decisions. It's about the entire smart workflow orchestration. It's about predicting what's going to come up, and it's altogether tying up into a segmentation and scale. A segmentation at scale, in a way. That you still have the scale that you need. You still have the velocity and speed, you still have the precision, but it is also completely contextualized to different customers and to the different stages of each customer's journey.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, for content, it's adaptive, and for the whole consumer journey, it's also highly adaptive to each individuals. Yeah, I fully agree with that. So let's dive into let's still continue the topic of AI integration. Today we talk about not only strategy but also how to land your strategy into reality and get the ideal results. So when we talk about how to land your 2026 GTM strategy, we should think about the team cooperation, the implementation. So many GTM teams remain siloed, to be honest, like brand versus demand, content versus social. I want to raise a question to you, Andrews, because you have rich experience, whether in startups as entrepreneurs or working in the big companies. Uh, what are the real barriers you are seeing for those companies, and how should the teams operationalize integration?
This goes to the reality of work with AI. It's one thing to say, oh, there's an AI, you can click on it, you can buy it, you can pay for it, but then it comes down to actually implementing this in the organization. This is another one of the key problems of AI. It's really easy to buy an enterprise AI engine from Google, Microsoft, whatever, a couple $100,000 or a couple $100 million, and you have the tool. Great. It's really difficult to implement it because of the foundation, what's under the thing. Think of it like you buy a house a complete house. You bring it to your yard where you want the house to be. You put it on the ground. What's under the house? The foundation. Dig down into the ground. Is it solid down there? Is it mud? Is it water? And so on. The problems are several. At the sea level, I mean the CEO, CFO, CMO, and so on. They have to support and encourage the installation and use of the AI. If they don't understand it really well, they don't support it very well, then the team will see, it's just another ideal from the C level. We're not going to bother with it. We'll just keep on doing our work. I see that a lot at companies. The staffers, they don't understand what the C level is doing, so they don't bother with that. They just keep on doing work as usual. The next problem, the data is scattered all across the organization. And by data, I mean the files, the data sheets, the numbers from the analytics, from the advertising, and so on, the metrics. It's in different formats, different databases, different storage units, and so on a cloud, on a drive somewhere. It's everywhere. All that has to be pulled together and made available to the AI. Next level, going down, another acronym, Enterprise Resource Planning, ERP. This is the software that we were talking about back office people. Well, this is the back office software that the back office people use. This ERP is the fabric that ties together logistics and finance and protection of a company, something most people at the front end don't see. But the AI has to work with that as well. And so far, that's a really complicated area for the AI to work in. Further down, they become political. Departments compete with each other. Really big secret. Nobody talks about this, but departments compete with each other, the VPs, the directors, so on, over budgets and resources and so on. Oh, that department got more budget than we do. We want more budget. Or we have $1 million in budget. We have to spend that. Otherwise, it'll get cut from us. So departments have these internal political issues over budget and resources. And AI comes along, changes the whole game, and no one knows how to deal with that. Further down, the lack of training. One thing to say, oh, we gave everybody in the team, everybody in the company, 2 hours of training on AI last month. That's not enough. You need a lot more time. And furthermore, what I see happening a lot, the CEO said, we trained everybody last month. Do you mean we have to train them all over again? Yep. Folks, the field is constantly changing, it's constantly evolving. You have to be looking at retraining your team, your company, pretty much every 2 or 3 months. And not just 2 or 3 hours, but maybe a day or two, really deep training to catch up and then do it again 2 or 3 months, over and over and over. And this is going to continue for quite some time. I don't see AI slowing down. In fact, the evolution is growing. The pace of the evolution is accelerating. It gets faster and faster and faster every month. We used to say the dot-com boom took 7 years to roll out. Here, what we've seen in AI in the last 3 years, we've gone way past 10 years of dot-com boom evolution. We're looking at in 1 year doing what we used to do in 5 years. That's going to accelerate more. So, yep, that's the reality of working with AI now. Karen?
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I absolutely agree with you. Like a small team moves fast in the era of AI, and those challenges you just mentioned mostly related to the big corporation, right? So at the same time, we have to learn everything, and we have to communicate with the key decision maker to align our expectation and AI implementation on the same page. Thank you for sharing that. So we talk a lot about the AI integration, the strategy, the key elements, the content, the personalization, etc. So when we think about how to land the strategy, GTM strategy into reality, but measurement is the key, right? What's the success matrix look like? Which matrix should the GTM teams prioritize in 2026? Are marketing qualified leads is still relevant? Or should teams focus on other indicators to predict? I want to raise this question to Abhijit because Abhijit, you are now serving for so many companies and dealing their real life like business challenges. You would be a better person to answer this question.
Yes, Karen. I think there's clearly a shift of metrics that's happening. And as you rightly said, uh, everything that we do has to be measurable. And some of the points that Andrea spoke about are so interesting that there's always an internal politics, and it's never one single team actually influencing the entire outcome. So
Mhm.
there's a sales team, there's a GTM team, there's a marketing team, there could be regional marketing teams, commercial excellence team, inside sales, pre-sales, I don't know, so many functions within an organization that work together, right? So MQLs are still valid. When you talk about MQLs, SQLs, sales and revenue are the ultimate metrics. But the point is, even before you get there, how do you see whether you are directionally moving right or not? Is Are your initiatives and campaigns performing the way they are expecting? And I think that's where the other metrics. There are a variety of metrics that we can measure, which tell us about the efficiency of our campaigns. I think Gartner has 4 levels of or 5 levels of metrics that they define, I guess. The tactical metrics, the operational, strategic, business, and something. Or maybe there are 4 levels, or tactical, operational, strategic, and business. But if ideally, right, if we can also break the metrics functionally. For example, there are with this AI first world, AI and efficiency metrics, which is of late gaining a real focus, is how is your uh, pipeline velocity index moving based on the initiatives that you are running. And can you also measure the AI enabled conversion rate? So very important to differentiate the traditional campaigns that you are running versus the AI enabled campaigns and AI integrated campaigns are doing, apart from the time to value, the customer to value, etc. So you could call all of these as AI and efficiency metrics. Then we have customer and market metrics. For example, the zero party data growth, which is more about the consent data. As we know, the GDPR and privacy laws are getting stronger and stronger to protect the privacy of the audience. Then it becomes, for example, the consent metrics, which that we gather allows us to gather more and more personal, the customer generated data as well as first party data from the customers, and also gives us the ability to target them directly. The engagement rates is another customer metrics that we measure, and the product led growth metrics such as free customers to paid conversion for SaaS products, etc. There are also content output metrics, which are the standard ones like how many posts, how many blogs, how many videos, etc., which is also important because it gives you some sense of the deliverables produced. But perhaps more important than that is the performance metrics of the content side. How effective has been your content to the audience? How relevant it has been? And that can be measured based on impressions, views, likes, shares, open rates, uh, you know, uh, or even earned media for that matter. There's also one more variety of metrics which is little difficult to measure but very important, is the think and feel metrics. The metrics which tells that what's the general sentiment about what you are pushing out, what do they think about your brand, or and how are the messages that are being pushed being perceived by the audience, what's the level of increase in the awareness that you have been able to do about your products or services. Is there a negative or a positive sentiment, or is there a positive change in the positioning, the thinking, or the attitude of customer towards your brand. Now these metrics are also very important because the later you capture this into the life cycle, there is a lot of uh, redoing that you will have to do. So very important to measure them. And eventually the customer behavior metrics, that how do customers respond to your actions, how many of them have registered to your request, downloaded a white paper, or signed up for a webinar, or they have been able to do an action that you define as part of your communication through self-service channels or different. Now these metrics actually give you progressively how you are performing, and how AI is being leveraged, to what extent it's being leveraged effectively. And then comes the business metrics, which is sales, revenue, retention, etc., which I guess are the ultimate metrics. But before you get there, you got to look at these things, because because they tell us how you are moving forward.
Thank you for sharing that. I like that. I like you summarize the think and feel matrix. Even I know as a marketers, I know some matrix. I really think it's important in the era of AI because a lot of content was generated by machine, maybe not by real human beings. So it's really, really important to validate if they really like or what they feel about your content. Do they really like it? And like AI efficiency matrix as well. Thank you for sharing that. And let's move on to, so we talk about the measurement, attribution. We talk about the GTM engine strategy, marketing operation layers, and the key elements and the GTM integration, including like the team cooperation. So after we tackle with all those dimensions, some audience may curious. So what's the real playbook? Have you any case examples? How can I execute the new GTM strategy in next 90 days? So can you just share a real US mid-market or enterprise example where AI or full funnel GTM drove success? So if a company wanted to build an AI-powered GTM systems in the next 90 days, what would your rough plan look like? So Andrews, I want to ask you this question because you are also a marketing expert. You are in the very front of AI era. So I want to listen to your opinion.
You put me on the spot. I'm a professor. I read, I research, I write, I teach, and so on. But in the last, let's say, 9 months or so, I've been getting much more hands-on with this, applying it, because it's in the application of AI that you see the reality of things instead of just theory. Um, I've been working one project I've been working on for 9 months now. Then another company, fairly about $15 to $20 million. They're in 9 cities across the U.S. We've been working with them, trying to help them get AI into the company and so on. And now in the last 2 months, 2 more organizations working with them to get AI. Plus, of course, I'm not going to say the name, two very VOC, very large organizations that I consult with. And there, it's been, I'm not kidding, 3 years of discussing AI. It's such a big issue, but these are very, very large organizations with tens of thousands of people. And for them, it's not an easy change, it's a very complex issue. So what I've found in the large companies, very difficult because it's such a global issue. In a smaller company, let's say under $50 million, 50 US dollars, there now the company is small enough that you get the whole team together, maybe in one large room, one large conference room, and they all understand each other. The different team know what the other teams do. They can cooperate, collaborate, they understand each other, and they all pull together for the company. There is more feasible. The number one issue, of course, CEO buy-in at the C level. the CEO, the CFO, the CMO, those three have to really understand what it's going to do, what it means for the company, and how to apply to the company. If they understand that clearly and can communicate that to the team, then they'll buy in. They'll say, okay, the top people are saying this, we better do it. If we want to keep our jobs, we better do it. So, okay, top level buy-in. Then it goes down to implement it in different teams. Folks, my suggestion, bring in an experienced consultant who has done this several times before. They come in, they've done it, they know where the good things are, they know where the problems are, they can help you build it much faster. Otherwise, you're going to spend not 90 days, you'll spend 180 days, 300 days trying to understand things and figure out how to apply it. And folks, this stuff is really, really complex. There is no handbook for AI. AI can do just about anything you want. So you need people who have experience with building practical solutions. Good. Now you have a consultant coming in, working with teams, starts to have small projects. And yes, set up little projects, set up just the test cases and try those out. Once you understand real simple concepts or the basic concept and real simple examples, you see that it works, then you can start growing bigger, add more to it, expanding, not just one product, but several more products. And then later on, the entire product line. And now you build a powerful engine to build all the marketing for that and the sales and the GTM process as well. Okay? So start small that way. Folks, beyond that, it's a lot more that you can add to your AI. There's things like I said, RAG systems, distillation, and so on. It gets far beyond that. Setting up your your AIs on cloud servers, and so on. Adding Pinecone, Vertex, a lot of new technology. You guys have already seen here in this last 45 minutes, we brought up so many new acronyms. There are many, many more. We're dealing with things processes we've never dealt with before. We never had these in the old world of marketing and sales and so on. So all of this you have to learn and start becoming comfortable and able to use those. Karen?
Thank you for sharing that. So you would suggest us like any company to start the small test in the 90-day plan, and at the same time to hire some consultant or expert to accelerate the progress, right?
Hey, for example, at one of the large corporations, I make a new issue comes up, a very important issue comes up. I suggest we need website around that. We need web pages around that. It took 3 months for the organization to put together a web page on a critical issue. 90 days it took to build one web page. That's what it's like. So many VPs and directors have to sign off on it. So many people have to discuss it. So many people have to work on that. That's what it's like at the big company. You guys, for the little company, wow, you can race ahead really fast. The big company, you got to start thinking really small. Start thinking like a small company, move quickly. Okay, that's the reality now.
That's the reality. Yeah. We have to learn it fast and to change our plan to adapt AI in the new year. Thank you. And that I think we have a lot of fruitful discussion. So that come to our last bigger question. So looking ahead to 2026, what old habit must marketing leaders let go of? I think Andrews have mentioned a lot of those. And what underrated strategy should they focus on now? Anyone want to answer this question?
Abhijit, you go.
Oh, yeah. I think so from my perspective, right, if you look at the outlook of 2026 and the things that one have to really focus on, I guess the first thing is uh, you should have focus over volume. It's very important that you have fewer priorities and deeper intent. Very, very important. Don't try to be skin deep into everything and try to achieve everything in one shot. So very important to to have that deeper intent. The second thing I think Andreas has highlighted is the CXO level involvement. The influence is definitely going to come from there. It's easier in a smaller size organizations because they are more agile. It's more difficult in larger organizations because the stakes are high. But it's very important that you have that top down and bottom up strategy that I spoke about, have a buy-in from the top, but then implement in smaller chunks at a smaller level within the organization, learn the experiences and go on from there. Precision over scale, I guess, is perhaps a very important element to consider. Have clarity first and then acceleration. So, clarity first, acceleration follows. Otherwise, if you start hitting the market without knowing where you want to go, you might actually reach there, but still not be aware of it. Very important to have that. And then important to build systems over the activity in the sense that things which are repeatable, the systems which are industrialized, the processes are automated, very important because over a period of time that will really give you the scale that you need to be able to progress from there. Finally, I would say the human in the loop angle because how many of us don't hear saying that, okay, we have got AI, so you don't need people at all. People can be significantly reduced. The investment is moving, shifting a bit from uh, investing into human resources versus investing into technology, machine, and AI. But I think it's very important to also get the human into the loop, the empathy, the care. There are so many aspects, the emotions that are associated. We are still living in a world where AI can on the performing organization side, AI can take decisions, but on the buyer side, it's very often a human sitting there to make a decision. So it's equally important to understand uh, that your communication is aligning with the objectives of the human sitting on the other side and the personality side of it. So one wrong communication can nullify 100 good communication that would have happened with clients. So it's not about AI or human or AI versus human. I think it's all about AI plus human advantage that you should build into the systems to be able to have a more effective GTM approach.
Thank you, RPG. Yeah, I fully agree. Like now, AI is just our assistant, not like can fully replace human beings. So in marketing is still the same. We should leverage both AI and human beings' intelligence to make the best result. Thank you for sharing that. So we just finished all the questions and we have a very, very inspirational discussion. Then we can come to the Q&A session. So anyone want to ask the question? You can put this in the chat. I can also check this.
Well, Marianne McGlynn already, and good morning, Marianne. Marianne McGlynn wrote a really good question here in the chat box. Explain the value of changes to the employees. The employees, right, and this is quite serious. They're very concerned about their jobs because some people talk about replacing all the workers with an AI and 2 or 3 people. I guess there's a lot of talk about that. But first, on the job loss issue, there is anecdotal stories now. People talk about this. The media loves to talk about this because, of course, newspapers, they sell newspapers by getting people scared. But there's very little real data on whether AI is causing job loss or job gain. Historically, going back, well, only 200 years of technology now, but in the last 200 years of technology, every new technological change has created the number of jobs because companies, first of all, it's a loop system. The company can produce more. Great. The more they produce, the more they sell. The more they can sell, the more market there is for it, the more consumers buy. So oddly enough, yes, technology makes things go faster, but it increases markets. So in the end, you get more consumers, more jobs, more companies. That's happened for 200 years now, and it's likely going to happen with AI again. Another issue that RPG brought up is human in the loop. Folks, a lot of talk about one AI can do everything. Um, that's pretty much a theory now, a dream now. Um, it's all about quality and scale, and the quality is guaranteed by humans. There has to be human supervising the AI. You guys come to San Francisco, you get a Waymo car, these robo cars, there's like 800 of those now in Silicon Valley. Sure, you get in a car, you say, hey, take me from Palo Alto to San Francisco. It will take you there, and it will figure out which road, where to get out, and so on. If there's a traffic jam ahead, it hops off and goes a different way. It can do that. You don't have to tell it how to get there, you just give it the go. But the result is you actually get there. Did it do a good job? That's what humans do with AI. You're the driver of the car. You're the sitting on the saddle of the horse. And the horse knows how to get there, but you have to tell it where to get to. Okay? The last item that also RPG brought up is metrics. Okay, I'm going to say something that's really scary, and Karen may cut me off here. Metrics have been a key issue in the last 20 or 30 years in digital marketing because before digital marketing, it was really hard to collect metrics because you had to wait months to collect them to get the numbers. With digital marketing, you had numbers instantly, literally within seconds. You could see what's happening across your website, your sales, and so on. And for 20 or 30 years now, 25 years now, we've had an entire system of marketing based on metrics. But with AI, that goes up in the air. It's really difficult to get metrics out of AI. First of all, the AI companies are not giving us numbers. And secondly, this really complicates the way AI actually works. So we're not going to have good metrics for a while. But a deeper issue, maybe more important, don't worry about the metrics. Don't worry about the revenue. Maybe jump into, if it's cold water, jump in and move forward. And folks, this is what Google did here in May. When 3 years ago, when AI came out, Google was caught flat-footed. They looked at a deer in the headlights. Uh-oh, what is that? What are we going to do? You guys remember Google Bard came out. Google tried to build their own AI. It was a disaster. I heard that people at Google were crying because Bard was so bad. Google had to take it down, go back to the workshop. And then May this past year, Google came out with Gemini, way better solution. And now it's far away the best solution on the market. The danger that Google was facing, if they didn't change, they would become extinct. They would simply go out of business. This has happened. I've been here in Silicon Valley so long, I've seen it happen over and over and over to large corporations. They don't change, they disappear within a few years. So Google had to jump in the water and move forward with AI. And quite frankly, don't worry about the numbers. Just move forward. Figure it out. At some point, people will figure out how to add metrics to the system. Okay? So what's coming at us now, look down the road, A to A, agent to agent, the agentic market space. Folks, look into that. You're talking about not just thousands of agents or 100,000. You're talking about trillions and trillions of agents. Every time you go into Google, Gemini, and ask a question, or any AI, you ask a simple question, 200 to 300 agents are created on the spot within 100 milliseconds. These agents process and understand your question and find the best answer. So we're talking about trillions and trillions of agents on the market within several months now. And that's what we're going to have to deal with. So start looking into that and learning how this all works. Okay? Abhijit?
Yes, I think you covered a lot. So I think makes a lot of sense. I was also going through a few more questions that I can see here. Perhaps there was a follow-up one from Miriam. She spoke about, and I'll just read that for you. I'm wondering what you are doing compared to say Salesforce platform being integrated and how it uses AI internally. So maybe I'll take a stab at that, and Andreas can add more as required. So so AI in an organization can be leveraged at multiple levels. At the bottom is your prompt engineering. You can use any of the existing LLM models, and you can or use any of the chat GPTs and get that. The second level is leverage a technology stack which is embedded with AI capabilities. For example, demand base or let's say Rollworks, or if you say Sixth Sense, can actually give you an intent signal of your potential buyer based on which you can sort of nurture your campaigns, right? So that's a capability inbuilt into a third party platform, and we can leverage that. Same happens with Salesforce. There is so much of AI that is being built, and we are not trying to replicate that. What we can also do is we can also build our own agents which can work over and above that to do all the tasks that we need, whether there's a research agent or there's a content agent, there is a intent agent, etc. End of it, tech stack is a tech stack. You got to have a system where the marketing automation happens. You got a system which unifies all the data that lies across the organizations in different departments, so that you have a 360-degree view of the campaigns that you are running and the customers and the audience that you are addressing. You need technology which can help you run the campaigns in different channels and bring the analytics together so that you can look at the performance aspect of it. How is your ROI against a given channel or against a given step in a customer journey or against the different interventions that you are doing? So tech provide you that advantage, and I think, as Andrea has also said, that we have so much of agility at this moment in smaller companies that the competitive landscape has dramatically changed. So it's not a big company competing against a big company always. Now it's all about innovation. It's all about speed, agility, and the value that you can add to the customers actually. So that actually in a way brings a level play into the market where innovation and good capabilities have a value beyond just the muscle power that a large organization can bring actually. Of course, larger organizations handle more complex tasks. They are built for enterprises, etc. And maybe I'll take one more. I think there was
Sure,
a
go ahead.
question.
Got 2 more
Oh,
minutes.
sorry. Is there something else, yeah, Andreas, you wanted to add on beyond what I said?
No, that's good. Kumar, go ahead. Abhijit, Kumar got a great question about AI, GTM with big budgets. Can you answer that one in 2 minutes?
Which one? Sorry, say that again, Andreas.
Kumar asked, how can companies start using AI in GTM without big budgets?
Oh, that's it. It's very, very simple question in a way. Takes a larger time, a much longer time to explain. But I think there are ways to do that. In fact, it's easier for a small and mid-sized companies to integrate AI, as Andreas was pointing out earlier. I think throughout the go-to-market strategy, right from a strategy development stage where you do a lot of research, you do an assessment, to a stage you start building your portals, having your content blocks, to a point where you actually start automating your campaigns, to a point where you actually look at the analytics and optimize the campaigns further. There are a bunch of AI platforms and options available based on your need, based on your complexity, and based on your budget. So I think there is definitely a room for a very reasonable investment to be done to be leveraged AI, and I think that is a beauty. Offline, we'll be very happy to share with you some of the tools and technologies that we can use to be able to integrate those faster.
We may get cut off in 30 seconds from the Zoom here. Any last words?
Do you have any point of view you want to share? Then I will come to the closing part.
Go ahead, close.
Okay. Only we have 1 minute left. So, and thank you for Andros and RPG for your insight, and thank you all the attendees to join us. Welcome to stay connected with TargetOrate. So if you have any interesting in this topic or any GTM related topic or AI related one, join our upcoming webinars where we will dive deeper into the implementation and other marketing topics. And if you are in Bay Area, come to our next in-person event to meet our team and other marketing leaders navigating these same challenges. In the end, just thank you all of you to attend this webinar today. Looking forward to see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye, Karen.
Thanks. Have a
Thank you
good
so
day.
much for hosting, and bye, Abhijit.
Bye, Andreas. Bye, Karen. Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.